Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rumors of Heresy. My name is Zareth, and I've got another battle report for you. I'm taking my Salamanders again. This is my fourth game since I've been back to the game. I'm trying to relearn at as quick as a rate as possible, but this is just my fourth game since 6th edition. Definitely I am a has-been, and I guess I don't care. 6th edition was crazy, 10th edition is also crazy, so let's get into it. Grey Knights is a new army to me in 10th. I used to play Grey Knights in 6th edition, and we're playing a new mission and a new deployment, which is great. I need to learn all of these. The ritual is one where you create your own objectives. You just have one objective in the middle, and then you create the rest of them. You deploy on the short board edges, and it tends to be a bloodbath in my experience. So, pretty interesting stuff. You can score a maximum of 15 in one turn, and you can make as many objectives as you would like. Here are the initial objectives. We're using the old school blast markers, and that's what we'll be using the whole game because I don't have objectives yet. Eventually I will buy them, but I'm too busy spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on plastic so that we don't have to use any more proxies. So here's my deployment, folks, and you can find my list in the video description if you so desire. But this is an accurate depiction of what I am deploying. You can see what he's got in just a moment, but I have 5 jump intercessors on the far left. You can barely see them. 10 jump intercessors with a chaplain. I have a repulsor with 3 eradicators. That was something someone pointed out recently. I can't have 6 eradicators in a repulsor executioner. So I've been doing that wrong this whole time. And that's my bad, of course, but I'm still learning. Please be a little patient with me at least. So we've got a regular repulsor. Once I discovered that, we're taking a regular repulsor and 3 eradicators. A Land Raider Redeemer with 6 Blade Guard veteran and Adrax. My Blade Guard veterans are painted now finally, so we don't have to proxy for them. We have 5 intercessors to sit around and look super pretty. In furnaces on foot, then another repulsor, this time an executioner with 3 eradicators in it, and then 10 Vanguard veterans, all with hand flamers and a captain. My opponent has 3 Dread Knights. One of them was a Grand Master. I didn't realize that at the time. He also deployed a Strike Squad. He also has 10, I think they were Purifiers. Let's just call them Purifiers for this mission. It might have been a Purgation Squad. I'm not sure, guys. I really am not, so sorry for the confusion. He has 10 Terminators and a Terminator Captain, or whatever you call a captain for Terminators. You guys are like, oh yeah, sure. I'm sure that guy played. I'm sure he played 40k and Grey Knights back in the day, but you know, I didn't play with Terminators, certainly. And then he has 3 Librarians just acting on their own, doing their own psychic BS. He also has another Strike Squad hiding behind that large brown wall. So, kind of an interesting list. Apparently the Dread Knights can't move 30 inches in one turn like they used to be able to in 6th edition. He won the role to go first, and I love this because I don't get to choose. I don't have to choose the right choice. Like, oh, I have to go second. I didn't do anything wrong. That was just how fate wanted it. He rolled up Recover Assets and Overwhelming Force, which I think are okay ones to start with. Oh no, Overwhelming Force is not a good one, in fact. So, he moved up. And actually, I don't think I took a picture of all of his stuff having moved up. So, just look at the arrows, and that's kind of where they ended up. And that's basically it. He just moved up. One thing I will say, he shot at some Marines that I could have concealed way better. And I was just sloppy and lazy, and my Marines paid the price. I rolled fairly poorly on my saves, and they just died like people who die. It was horrific, folks. So, he ended up getting 0. I guess those weren't good secondaries after all. So, 0 points going into my first turn, and he's being pretty aggressive into the middle. So I got Area Denial and Established Locus, which are actually, it's the same thing. You have to get to the center of the board. So these were actually really good ones to start with. For me, let's talk about my strategy. Alright, so 3 big creatures running up the middle of the board. They're only toughness 8 compared to the things that we've been killing lately, though they do have a better save, and they have that 4-up invuln save, so they're still pretty scary. The question is, can I kill one of them with shooting this turn? And that's basically it. Just, we need to contest those middle objectives, start creating our own, and then hopefully we can get into a fortuitous situation. He has so many things in reserve, it's hard to know the shape of how the game is going to be played. But I did know that I wanted to be there to threaten those objectives so that whatever he did, he would have to be reactive and responsive to what I was doing, as opposed to me always playing catch up and everything. I needed to be aggressive and stay in the middle there, which is the kind of game I tend to play the best, frankly. So let's see how it goes. Basically, I did the thing that I wanted to do, which was kill a Dread Knight. It was great. He only had to fail a couple invulnerable saves, and I rolled okay on the number of wounds that he took, so that went well. And then he saved on every single other shot against other Dread Knights, so it was fine. The Vanguard veterans moved up in front of that big board thing. You guys can't see it, the big wall, but I don't know if that was the wisest. I just wanted to have kind of a clear field of fire in case he wanted to deep strike something there, in case I could do an overwatch or something like that. And otherwise everything else moved up. As I had said before, a lot of my models had already been kind of hit by the Dread Knights, and so I wanted to make sure that if he got into the middle, we could hit back. Of course, he can pick his guys up and place them wherever he wants. This is a crazy army to wrap your head around, and I'm glad I'm getting this kind of experience. For scoring, I did end up in the middle, and the locus, you can't get to the back zone, your opponent's zone for this, but I did get 2 for that. Area denial was at 5, and it wasn't too bad of a start, folks. 7, and now we'll start actually scoring. My opponent got Cleanse and Overwhelming Force. He also got 5 for holding an objective, but he had been a little bit cautious, and so he didn't lose. He didn't score as much as he perhaps could have. He had created an objective. I created an objective as well, and then he landed with his Purgation Squad, as we said I was going to call it, and I did Overwatch. I killed 3 of his guys, with Hand Flamers, which is fine. We're strength 4 with this stratagem. So that was pretty nice. And then, of course, they shot back and killed a bunch, which I don't have a good picture of. You'll see it in a little bit. He also landed his Terminators and was able to charge my Repulsor. He failed his first roll and then paid to reroll it and got it. Killed the Eradicator, and I think the thing exploded, killing 1 Terminator, something like that. He regrew it, though, of course, because he had the Narthicum in the squad, which is super frustrating. And then it also killed 1 of my Eradicators, which he consolidated into close combat with. In the middle, he also shot and killed my Repulsor Executioner. So he killed my Repulsor, killed my Executioner, and then he was also able to get the charge on my Intercessor Jump Squad and on my Land Raider. And he almost killed the Land Raider too. The Land Raider was only on 3 wounds. It was quite the punch. He also killed a bunch of my Vanguard veterans, and he shot a few of my Jump Intercessors on the top as well, my 5-man squad that was just supposed to be there for objective reasons. It was a brutal turn, folks. It was really strong, really well done by him. Especially, I had no idea that those Terminators could just land and they get +1 to charge, and then he just got the charge every time he wanted it, and it was pretty brutal. I did, and to be clear, I didn't screen the way I should have. So let's see. He ended up scoring 7 on his turn with overwhelming force, and he got cleanse on with a couple of his units. So we didn't even need all of his units to be able to destroy me. He just he just walked into it. It was fairly impressive, though I was able to keep it close because his primary only went to 5. On my turn 2, I got behind enemy lines and storm hostile objective, which were things that I thought I could maybe manage, but we got a plan on this because he's in my face. This is a fairly scary situation, folks. Yeah. What an awful turn that was. That was so painful. I lost 2. I lost both of my big, heavy, awesome tanks that could maybe put a dent in the Terminators or the Dreadknights. They're just gone. The Redeemer almost died, and this is due to my inexperience. I should have found a way to block off the Terminator charge. I'm pretty sure there were ways I could do it, and my lack of experience got to me, folks. Frankly, I always... people can charge from Deep Strike now. It's madness. It's crazy, and it's part of the rules, so I need to learn how to deal with it. I just haven't yet, so that's on me, but both of my repulsors died, and I'm not going to give up the fight. We have to kill those 2 Dreadknights. If we don't kill the Dreadknights, we're absolutely screwed. We're not going to do well. Not at all, and... I mean, we might not do well anyways, but I think we have the firepower maybe to deal with those. We also need to put a little bit of thought into those Terminators coming up. They're going to be ruining things as well. And man, there's just a lot I've got to learn, folks. This is a great learning experience, but man, that turn, that was painful. That was over a quarter of my army dead in one turn because I didn't know how to play the game well. Let's see how we can actually manage. Now that we're in a tough spot, maybe we can do something. One good piece of news was that I scored 10 on objectives this turn, which is fairly nice in my opinion. Puts us a little bit in the lead. My Infernus walked through that wall and torched that Purgation Squad. Only 2 of them remained, only 1.5 really, so that felt pretty good. We were also able to, in the middle, folks, kill both Dreadknights. Holy balls, that was good. I'm so glad we managed to do that. And the Blade Guard had to get out, and Adrax got to threaten them. He picked up his squad of Strike Marines, which was fine because the Vanguard veteran, they would have probably chopped him into little pieces anyways, but because they weren't there, we were able to go and grab that objective. I made sure to measure in advance, and as long as one of my models was within 3 inches of the objective center, then we could hold it, which was a good deal because my opponent held that objective anyway, so we were able to get one of our secondaries, I believe. Then the 5-man squad, which is supposed to just be working on secondaries, instead there was only 2 of them remaining, so they charged the jump intercessors charged the hurt librarian. There was one librarian who failed his perils test or whatever it's called now. He took like 1 or 2 points of damage, so I charged him, and I actually just ended up smushing him. It was extremely satisfying. The Eradicators did fall back, and I wanted to make as big of a block for those Terminators as possible so they couldn't get the charge into my Assault Intercessors. And it was not too bad. The Eradicators were able to, the ones that weren't just scared and falling back from the Terminators, were able to one-shot one of the Dreadknights, and it ended up being a pretty good counterpunch, though he still got so much stuff on the board, it's frankly terrifying. I managed to score enough to get up to 21 this turn. Storm hostile objective, I got 4 out of 4, and I turned behind enemy lines into CP. My opponent got area denial and assassination, which both I think are fairly achievable for him. He can assassinate any number of characters of mine. So, here's the calm before the storm, folks. What can he do to me? Quite a bit, actually. He managed to shoot and kill both of those eradicators that had been falling back, and that was quite sad. And then he was able to charge, failed the charge on my assault intercessors with the chaplain, and then got the command reroll and got it just barely. I think he needed a 9, and he got it. Ah, so rough, man. So rough. My Land Raider exploded. Horrific, folks. I rolled 6 on my Blade Guard veteran, so it killed 2 of them instantly. I rolled a 5 on my Infernus squad, so it killed 2.5 of them. It killed a couple of my Vanguard vets, and it killed an Eradicator in the other squad. It was a really, really awful roll. It killed a Terminator too, but yeah, not what I would advise, folks. If you can avoid that happening ever again, I would absolutely recommend it. Unless you're someone I don't like, in which case, please allow that to continue happening. His Librarian on the top there charged my 2 assault intercessors, and you can see the strike squad that was there. They had put Sticky on that objective, and then they raptured up. They went up to heaven temporarily. So he was able to. Here's a here's a picture describing all these things that have happened. So yeah, he's got one character left in that purgation squad, and the 4 strike marines there. Oh, that's right. They didn't go up to heaven. They went in to try to mess with those assault intercessors, which did die, but they did actually consolidate into the Blade Guard veterans. So it's kind of a mess, folks. He managed to score 5 on the secondaries and 5 on the primary as well, bringing him to 22. I'm at 21 before the start of my turn 3. And it's looking grim, folks. Those Terminators in the middle are rough. I rolled engage on all fronts, and I got assassination as well. God. So painful, folks. He keeps making that really long charge, and he's keeping a dice to make sure he can reroll it, which I guess is smart, but man, that was painful. So I don't have a final picture of the round. Apparently I was just too discouraged, or maybe my camera just decided to stop doing it in protest of the war, because it's not going our way, folks. It was very painful. Did not get much done against those Terminators. The Blade Guard veterans got blown all the way to hell because of the stupid Land Raider exploding the way it did. It was what a tragic turn that was. If you're a Salamander fan, you should probably just stop watching this right now. Except you shouldn't, because I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. The thing is, we have to kill as many of those Terminators as possible. We've killed a lot of guys, actually. There's been a lot of death on the Grey Knight side. We have a lot of tools. It doesn't look like it, but those Infernus especially can, if we roll the right dice, we can do immolation protocols and wipe a lot of those Terminators out. I wish I had Adrax to help me wipe them out, but he had to fall back into a safe location, and we just need to go all in on the Terminators, which means we're even going to charge with the Infernus if we have to. We have to do everything possible to those Terminators, or they're going to dominate the middle of the field the whole time. So all in, it's all or nothing. We have a lot of tools to help us here. I'm really interested to see how this turn ends up. I did end up scoring another 10 on the objective, so that was nice. A nice little boost. 31 to 22. Getting engaged all fronts and assassination. And my opponent was a little intimidated by my resolve. I put everything close to them, and he decided to pull his Terminators out because he didn't want to lose his big unit, because if I'd been able to kill it in one turn, I could probably just table him at that point. I'm not sure this was the wisest choice. I also am not sure it wasn't the wisest choice. It's a very difficult decision for him to make, and I think it was okay. We did manage to kill all 5 of those strikers that were in front of us, so that was exciting. And the Vanguards were available to go and smite that stupid Terminator Librarian. I was also able to kill another Terminator Librarian with the Eradicators on the left-hand side. You'll see a picture of that in a moment. And it looked kind of like we had vanquished our foe, even though those Terminators were waiting. They're always watching. So yeah, killed the Terminator. I think that was the one that killed my Land Raider. Man, that was so brutal. I think I'll be scarred by that for life. Maybe for a month. Probably not for life. I'll be scarred for a month. So I managed to get 5 more points. I got the assassination. I smote those stupid Librarian Terminators, and then engaged on all fronts. I just turned into CP because we need CP. I've been using it at a pretty high rate at this point, and so we're actually at a fairly decent VP advantage at this point. Going into turn 4, this is looking maybe manageable. The fact that I could pick up those Strike Marines instead of having to fight just the Terminators is probably just what the doctor ordered, honestly. My opponent got Cull the Horde and Bring It Down, which is actually not great against my list. The Bring It Down, he already killed all of my monsters and vehicles, so I don't feel bad for him at all there. Cull the Horde, a little bit more interesting. He's able to get a few points here and there against, if he's able to get like my Vanguard Veteran Squad, if he gets those down, that started with 20, so we can get some victory points there. He also opted, because he wasn't going to score at all this time on the primary, he decided to go for a secret mission, which I had never heard of a secret mission before. No, I take it back. I had heard of it. I had no idea that was part of regular games, though. It was crazy to learn about it. So he decided to do it, and he doesn't have to tell me what it is, because, you know, it's a secret. So the Terminators jumped on down, and then they charged. They failed their 7-inch charge, and then rerolled and got it again. It's brutal, folks. I wish they had just made his initial rolls every time, because getting my hopes up and then having him pass it every time was painful. He had 1 strike squad that he picked up and placed back into my back corner, which kind of projected which thing he was going to do. He also shot my last 3 remaining Intercessors, which you guys can't really see, but they're dead. You can't see their corpses because they've been removed. And then they charged in and killed all the rest of the Vanguard veterans, though my captain and the remaining, I actually swapped the model out because my opponent kept asking what it was. I was like, it's a jump marine with a power fist, and even though I didn't have a power fist to spare, it was easier to show with the jump pack. So I have a sergeant with a power fist and a captain with a power fist, and they killed a couple of the Terminators, which was really nice, really helpful. Thanks for doing that, guys. And we piled on in. My opponent scored 5 for Cull the Horde. He killed the Vanguard veterans, and then that was it, guys. It was 27-36, pretty close game, and all of our models are almost all gone. I rolled Recover Assets and Defend Stronghold, which is not something I wanted to do. Defend Stronghold is something you can kind of ignore in the ritual. Holding your home objective is something you can kind of ignore, and so I didn't have anyone back there. It's kind of a mess, folks. Okay, so what the hell is a secret mission? I didn't know. We had already taken a long time to play, so I didn't want to look at him. I was just like, look, I trust this guy. He was a great player, really fun guy to play against, so nothing on him. I trusted him entirely to do the play the right way. I just didn't know what these were, and so it looked like something about his strikes needed to be in my back zone, and I think people, if anyone knows what the secret missions are, this is a fairly obvious thing, because he also killed my Intercessors, which were my only battle line unit. So he just needed to have his battle line units in my deployment zone and kill all of my battle line units. Easy enough. He's already accomplished it, basically. So that's all he's got, though, folks. I think maybe he has like that one last purgation character, like a one wound left, and everything else of his is dead. I killed all the stupid librarians, the dread knights, the strikers, at least from one of the squads. It's been a veritable bloodbath on both sides, and I'm holding objectives. I have to keep holding objectives because what I did know was a secret mission gives you 20 victory points. If I could just get 10 this turn and 10 the next one, I would totally negate his ability to score. The biggest question was, is it wise to charge in with Adrax and the Blade Guard vets now, or should we wait and kind of be a speed bump for him later? The answer, of course, is you want to charge because we already have two I can't talk. Lightning hammers, thunder hammers, something. Power fists is what the actual answer is, but we have two power fists on separate characters that are going to distract those Terminators a little bit and let us have an opportunity to chop down some more Terminators instead of letting them eat us all in small bite-sized gulps, or gulp-sized bites. Anyways, we gotta go and charge, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Adrax had better be on his friggin' game. So, we should have recovered assets with the Infernus, but instead, I went and shot and killed that final guy. I think that's what I should have done. But, one way or another, Adrax and the Blade Guard veteran charge in. They kill a bunch of Terminators who then choose to kill the captain and the thunder, the guy I can't pronounce at all, the power fist guy. He killed both of those, so that was sad. But in return, all he's got left is his captain guy, and I think he's only on one wound or something. I'm hoping that's what that dice is for. So, pretty effective, in fact. Who knows who's going to win the next fight, but it was okay. It didn't suck. I get to go first in that fight, if it so transpires. All he's got is that one model plus some strikers, and that wasn't too bad, folks. It scored another 10 on primary this turn, with the hope of getting 15 in the next turn if things go okay. I didn't get any secondaries, however. I did move my Eradicators back to get Defense Stronghold next turn. I knew that I could get that, and then I could do recover assets later. I was sure of it. My opponent rolled Containment and Secure No Man's Land. Secure No Man's Land wasn't going to be possible for him, but Containment, he could do something. He also revealed War of Attrition, which was exactly like I said, battle line units in my zone, and I can't have any battle line units left alive, or if they are, they have to be within my own deployment zone as well. So, he had picked up his strikes, he landed them again, he shot at the Eradicators, took one wound off of them, and decided to concede. He did get a secret mission, however, and containment, which brought him up to 50 victory points, which was more than I had, 50 to 46 at that point. Then I scored 15 on the primary, and I would have gotten Defense Stronghold with the Eradicators, and I would have gotten Recover Assets as well for a pretty decent score, folks. 67 banners. So we ended up getting the win, 67 to 50. Huge shout out to my opponent, Thomas. Really great guy, really good match. It was a lot of fun, guys. It was good. So, yay for the win. That's 3 in a row, folks, though I'm not playing like the very top level competitors yet, and that's no slight on my opponents. A lot of my opponents have just, they don't want to throw a newer player against the top people in the meta, which I appreciate them wanting to protect themselves. Just kidding. Protect me. So, What did we learn? That's a great question. We need to block off the important units. All I had to do, folks, was use that 5-man intercessor unit to screen behind my repulsors, and maybe I would have lost one to shooting. I probably would have, but I don't think I needed to lose both of them. That was a really bad situation. I could have turned it into a, okay, they tried to charge and they just couldn't get to me kind of situation like that, or they couldn't have even charged. They maybe could have killed my assault intercessors, which would have been an acceptable speed bump, frankly, for me to be able to then turn around and unleash absolute hell back into them. So that's something I need to get more practice on and understand the value of. He also shot a lot of things that, honestly, I didn't have to give him line of sight to a lot of stuff. He just had it because I was a little bit sloppy. That's something I can fix as well. And then finally, the reserves and redeploy shenanigans. I think this is gonna be a pretty common thing. It's been a theme in every single one of my games so far, except for those Imperial Knights. And even those guys had the Nurglings coming in. I think that's going to be an important part of this game. I don't know if that's going to be something that is important to me specifically for my army or not, but I do need to start making plans for those kind of armies, because I can't afford to lose a quarter of my army on turn 2. That was just absolutely disastrous. It was almost a third of my army. We really can't afford that. So let's see what we can do. Let's try to prep for it. And I think that's it, folks. I don't have any news for you. We're still prepping for that big tournament in October. So I'm just going to let you go here. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that if you didn't hear it from me, it's probably heresy.